Welcome back to the episode of Umric Podcast. Coming to you all after week one of the college football season, and we're on the cusp of week one of the NFL football season. What we're going to do today is recap the Fresno State Michigan game. Then we got a big time matchup, big matchups for the state of Michigan in general. We got
Yes.
Texas coming to the big house for the first time ever, I believe. Top 10 matchup on that side of things. Then Sunday night, we're gonna have a rematch of our first playoff game in 30 years last year. Stafford coming back home again um, to take on our beloved Detroit Lions. So to start things off here, E, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it over to you. Just want to see your thoughts from what you saw at the Fresno State game, Michigan Fresno State game this past weekend.
Yeah. So, I mean, first things first, I was just excited to see some football, live football, in particular football for guys that we root for and pull for the win. So it was great just to see that and see the big house fired up. I know you were in the stands there, so I'm sure that crowd was electric right off the gate. But no, in general, I would say just not our best foot forward. It was, and we can dive into the potential reasons for that. Were we probably playing a little more vanilla than we would versus Texas? Yes. Were we trying out new pieces, younger guys, trying to figure out which defensive back combinations was working, which offensive line combos were working, swapping out the center and mid game. I forgot who we put back in, but I think we were trying to figure out who were some practice players and who can do it in a real game, as well as although he had the realm for 4 games last year. Sharon Moore's first time rolling out 100% all his own game plan preparations. Offensive coordinator, same deal. New defensive coordinator. So we had a lot of interchanging parts of it. And I think that kind of showed. We definitely weren't the fine-tuned machine that we were at the end of last year, where offense was humming, defense was humming, kick returns, or a punt return, whatever we took back to the house. I think we had a lot of momentum going then. I kind of think, obviously, mass exodus from coaches, 13 NFL players drafted, another 5, I think, signed
Free
in
agent, yeah.
free agency. So, I mean, you look at that, there ain't but 22 guys that's played, and 13 got drafted, and another 5 or so are on NFL roster. So, I mean, you're looking at 70 to 80% of our starters last year are current NFL players. So, I think whenever that happens, it's going to be a bit of an adjustment.
Yeah.
But I would say that's kind of my overall thing. Things that I am very concerned about is, like every Michigan fan, the quarterback play. I'm not going to harp on that too much. I'm hoping we can just get that serviceable. If we can get, we just talked about in pre-production, but if we can get Cade McNamara type production, we're good. If we can limit the turnovers, get them needed third downs, obviously we don't have JJ back there no more. So everything else has to step up. Another area of concern of mine is Edwards just seems his inability to be an every down back. It and that's something that I thought maybe last year and the year before that for that matter, I thought maybe he was trying to go for home runs because he has to do it on 8-9 carries. But he was the primary back this time around. I think he ended with 11 carries for like 30 yards or something. I think it was like 11 for like 27 yards or something. Nothing impressive at all. That's kind of alarming to me because I think um, he's so explosive, and I would love to see him be more of an every down back. Where if we give him 20 carries, he can on 18 of them he's getting positive yards, and maybe he breaks 1 or 2 for 20, 30 plus yards. I think if we give him 15 carries and he's sitting at 35 yards, like we cannot depend on them home runs as much. He has to just get them little tiny dirty yards, Blake Corum style, Haskins style.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what our offense is built around, and I'm not writing him off. He's a fantastic player, but I'm wondering how we're going to divide those carries up this coming up week. Unless he does hit a home run early, I think a lot of those carries will probably go towards Mullins, who just looked like a dog.
Yeah, looks great.
In particular, later in the game, he was running like we had to get them yards, which we did. So overall, I say just kind of a dirty game, not our best showing, but at the end of the day, we beat a good, solid team. Probably going to compete for their conference. Going to be hovering around 10-9 wins. and we got out of there. So that's kind of my general recap of that.
For sure. Yeah, I think echo a lot of that. It's great points there overall. I think, I mean, like you said, I think we did come out, super vanilla. I think we're a team that, tends to run like a lot of like I formation, double tight. Didn't really see a ton of that. It's more of just, shotgun, just very, yeah, I feel like a very vanilla play style. And I feel like for Edwards, it's been a little minute since he's been the guy, like the prime back. It's probably been since college for him. I just hope that they're able to kind of coach this like East and West running. 'Cause that's what it feels like. Like watching it live, as soon as he would get the ball, he would almost just try to get right outside that tackle and just try to see if he could just stiff arm a guy and just kind of beat him to the outside. I think he did get outside one time. They called it back for a holding
Yep.
call. Um,
Questionable call too, but yeah, no, I agree.
right. Yeah, absolutely. So I think, for him, I imagine they're gonna kind of just hopefully, coach him up this week on just being a little more patient, running in between the tackles. And I don't know, and everybody keeps saying too, we seen the Don show up against, Ohio State, Big Ten championship,
Penn State.
national
Yeah.
championship. This might be, the stakes might be raised a little bit higher for, to bring out the best of them. But that's the hope. But I do feel like we got to see a little bit more from him, but just more patient running, kind of sticking his nose in there and taking 2 or 3 yards, opposed to, going sideways for no gain or, a loss of yards. So love what I saw from Khalil Mullings. Heard the running back coach. He said he feels bad that he didn't get, Ben Hall in there, a little bit. He's more kind of built like Khalil Mullins, just in between the tackles type player. Sounds like Jordan Marshall, the 4-star Mr. Ohio. The freshman might be getting a bite of the apple this weekend. So it's one of those things where Edwards, man, it's, you got to kind of figure it out, or they might have to go find a solution, sooner rather than later. But I don't, like you said, we're not giving up on him. And I feel like, he just, the stakes might need to be raised a little higher for him to just get it going. And also agrees with the quarterback situation. I once again think we're very vanilla there from a play call standpoint. Give a lot of credit to Origin. He came in last year and, ran some like QB power plays here and there. So he kind of understands what that looks like. A bummer, we couldn't get him, to be the starter overall, or, to kind of take the job as his right off the gate. But I think Davis Ward did some solid things. I think we clean up some of that, clean up some of the O-line play, which is a little shaky here and there. I think it'll be sitting pretty. I mean, I like what I see. I got the box score up right now. Colson Loveland, 8 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, I think that's going to be, they're probably going to key in on them to where it's going to give other guys opportunities to step up. The Tyler Morrises, Samaj Morgans, and Frederick Moores. I mean, I think we were kind of keeping a lot of stuff at bay, but we're able to get close on the ball to just, do what we needed to do to convert first downs. He got in the end zone finally in the fourth quarter to really just do what we needed to do to, beat Fresno State by 20 points. That's the thing, like you said, like things looked not as great as we thought they would have, but we still got a 20-point win out of it. So I'm confident that, coaching staff, they say across college football, you're going to see teams play a lot better from week 1 to week 2. Sometimes that week 1 game is just, kind of like a wake-up call for some teams. And some teams come in there firing all cylinders. Some teams need a little, a build-up, but losing 18 guys to the draft and, to, undrafted players or graduation, whatever that looks like. You can definitely feel it, but I do feel like we're going to be ready come next week or this Saturday.
Yeah, no, and I think this Saturday is such a big test for us, and we haven't had a game this big in this early in the year, and I mean probably since we used to play Notre Dame that
I'll
early. I
say,
mean,
yeah.
I know. I mean, definitely. What we had Washington come to town a handful of years ago. I don't think they were ranked, if not that highly ranked. So I think this is definitely the biggest September game we've had in quite a while. So I'm looking forward to it. And Texas they're legit. They were in the playoffs last year. Top, let's call it, be conservative and say a top 5 quarterback drafted this coming year. They got some pieces around, and they've been like you said. I'm not trying to steal your points, but they've been trending in this direction.
Yeah.
To and I would love to knock him off that pedestal. Just come in and, big old fashioned Big Ten ass whooping. Just that's kind of what I'm looking forward to as far as this game. Texas comes to town. I believe we're the game of the week.
Yeah, college
Yeah,
game
so
day, noon.
yep, college game day, big noon there. I heard they're bringing out the fighter jets and all that good stuff. So I think all the hype is around it, and this is literally what you come to Michigan for. This is why those kids went to Texas to play in games like this, and I'm hoping that we can kind of take what we did last week on vanilla it, and
For
just
sure.
kind of. And I
Kitchen
think we
sink
were,
it.
yeah, I agree. And if this wasn't, I had to go look it up after the game the other day. But our new offensive coordinator is Kirk Campbell. Not a name that jumps off the page for me, but I
QB coach last year.
yeah, and it just makes me wonder, kind of what his like. Is he more of a? I love. I'm not even sure what the formation we call, but the
Or like 7-8.
shotgun with a quarterback or with a receiver, running back right next to me. Just typical shotgun. Four receivers, maybe Loveman out there, or are we going to go back to that bread and butter, like you said? Are we going to have that like the pitcher from the Penn State game where we had like
Double
3,000
tight.
pounds on the line?
Yes.
I think that is we've built that identity, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to this game. It's just smash mouth, Donovan Edwards. Let's hit one. Let's hit a couple of them this week. Khalil Mullins. Let's keep lowering that shoulder.
For sure. Beat up
Loveland.
on
Yeah, just beat up on them. Let's see if they can come up here and play. It's gonna be a little cold. Them Texas boys ain't had no 58-degree weather maybe ever in their life. Definitely not used to playing in it. I don't think it's gonna be rainy or not, but it's definitely gonna be cold. Them hits gonna hurt a little more, and so overall I'm not trying to steal too much points, but this game is a big game, and it will show me a lot as far as a measuring stick. Now, if we lose this one, I don't think the season's over.
right.
I think it's particularly how early of a year it is. I think Texas or Bama lost to Texas in week 2 or 3 of last year and made it all to they lost us in the Rose Bowl. It's just a matter of learning from that
Yep.
and figuring out which players can come to play. But I think this week is, just make it a street fight. You don't want it to be a track meet. We want it dirty. We want it murky. Blow that game up and pound the rock, play action. I think that's how we get walk away with victory. So
For sure. Yeah, and I think, the thing that gives me big confidence, we just had a blueprint. We've seen no disrespect to Quinn Ewers, but I don't think he's CJ Stroud. I don't think he's Michael Penix. I think he's a great quarterback. Like you said, he's probably top 5 in his class, might be a first rounder this year. But we have a blueprint, really from a defensive standpoint, to where we're just gonna keep everything in front of us, stop the run. I think as soon as one of the big things for Texas, they're big on play action, misdirection, a lot of like window dressing. I think as soon as you are able to make them one-dimensional, that's when they can start to get just like impatient. You know, 2, 3, 3-and-outs. I had them over there like, what are we doing? Like we just threw up 52 on Colorado State last week. Like now we're sputtering. So I feel like as long as we can keep everybody in front of us, I'll even go another level. Texas doesn't have a Marvin Harrison Jr. They don't have a Chris Olave. They don't have a Garrett Wilson, um, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Romo
yeah,
Dunze.
yeah,
All these guys that a lot of the secondary has seen plenty of times. I mean, they've seen all them Ohio receivers the last 2 to 3 years. They saw them big time players. Odunze was the first rounder, McMillan, Polk, all these guys were like second, third rounders in this draft this year. And I just don't see that I don't think Texas has that talent on the outside that this team has already seen. So I feel like if we're able to just keep everything in front of us, as far as I'm concerned, Quinn Ewers can throw for 250, 275, 300, but as long as we're keeping that run game to where like they can't like use play action to try to, kind of like to its strength. I truly feel like, the defense will give us a chance to either get turnovers, shorten the field. And then from an offensive standpoint, you already kind of hit on the head. I'm hoping we see double tight, I formation, Bredesen coming at them linebackers, Khalil Mullins coming downhill, Donovan Edwards coming downhill, throw Orgy in there, QB power, put some guys in motion and really just make them have to stop the run. So I feel confident that we're gonna be able to just play a game in a phone booth. We got a kicker. Sounds like all you gotta do is get to the 38, 40-yard line. As long as the wind is
Yeah.
right, he hit a 55-yarder outside, yeah, the big house last week. That I think would have been good from about 60. So as long as we can get 2, 3 field goals, get in the end zone, a couple times, and just keep Texas, like keep everything in front of us, and just don't let them receivers, get all going, all through the field, breaking tackles and everything. I think we'll be fine. Like you said, it's not a death sentence if we drop it. If anything, I think this is going to be a fist fight. I think it's going to be a street fight. I think we need to make it like a heavyweight bout to where we going, first one to tap out loses. And I feel like we're built more for those type of matchups than Texas is. We've seen Texas in different ways, shapes, and forms or other teams we played in the last few years. Our biggest rival literally looks like them, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree. It looks like them, but Texas isn't, like you said, doesn't have that top end talent that we know of. Like they're not household names. They're not, I'm sure they got some boys out there, but they're
For
not
sure.
who we've already seen. So I agree. And it ain't like we're rolling out there with a different cast. Will Johnson has been lining up, taking away a third of the field for 3 years. And
Ari
he'll do it for
Page.
another, Mari Page. And then Will Johnson do it for another 10, 12 years in NFL after this. He's
Mm-hmm.
certified NFL corner day one. Just kind of the notes I wrote, I kind of talked on some of this first time, but I said murky the waters, a heavy dose of the run, and then in parentheses I said keep them on the sideline. Their offense is explosive. We can limit those, get control the time of possession, get those. It's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, and let's get that. Just keep them on the field another 2, 3, 4 minutes as we run another couple of plays here. I think that is really what's going to wear that defense down to where we keep doing that. Somebody's going to break one. They're going to, whether it's Orgy, whether it's Edward, Mullins, we keep that foot on the neck and keep the game within striking distance, not let them go out and drop 17 in the first quarter on us or something, but keep it
Mm-hmm.
slow and dirty. I think that is our recipe. And then I said, big plays / trick plays. I know we have something up our sleeve. Um, and I just think those timely big plays, like if we would have hit Fred more on that touchdown, the score would look way different. We would feel different if it was a 27-point win versus a 20-point win. We could say, oh, well, he had a good, he came out the gate a little slow, but he put it together, had 210 or whatever passing yards. I think those little tiny things is what makes a big difference. So landing that big play. And then also on top of that, just if we have one of the most electric, terrifying option type quarterbacks, let's use that to our advantage and let's get Loveland down on a post over the middle, or let's get Fred Moore running down the sideline, or let's really lean into that after we do it a couple of times. Let's not just keep going to the well without a chess piece move on the back end of, hey, if you do that one more time, that damn safety drops, we're hitting him over the head with it. And I think that's kind of what we really have to come to play. As far as defensively, Will Johnson, Lockup City,
Front seven, nasty.
yeah, Mary Hall. I know he's a transfer, but just having him out there, he had some moments, and I think he's a guy that's gonna have to try to make a name for himself. He's gonna be out there. They're gonna be out there 4 or 5 receivers every damn play. So we're gonna have a lot of these guys
Yeah.
put in unique positions. I think he came from Richmond, so this is definitely the biggest game he ever played in.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Zeke Berry
Mason
looked
Graham, Kenneth Grant, just keep blowing that shit up. Be that dynamite in the middle. Have Quinn Ewers scared for his life. Bring that running back down, a couple of times in the backfield. Just make things dirty. And I think that I'm the least worried about the defense. I think if the defense does get ran on, it's because the offense is just sputtering that much that we're
Yeah.
putting them back out there every damn time.
Right.
But if that offense can give that defense enough time to rest, enough time to kind of keep their shit in order, I mean, this game is up for the taking, and it's a big game. And it's just kind of crazy to have something this big in the. I mean, we didn't. They talked about our schedule so bad last year to like middle of October, so it's kind of
Right.
weird. It's kind of weird to be playing like what is
Had
that,
him on a
4 in the
dinosaur
country? Yeah.
for
So
sure. Yeah, no, you hit on the head there. Like I said, I'm, the front seven, no issues there. I don't really have no worry there unless you, like you said, we just sputtering on offense to the point to where they're out there for the entire time. But I think we're gonna do a good job of time of possession. I feel confident that the offense will look night and day better than it did last week. So maybe like
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I
So
agree. And let me just say one other thing here. So I
sure.
I came across a Texas fans podcast talking about the game, and it was kind of interesting to hear from the other point of view. But the two biggest things he talked about was their yards after the catch. Apparently, Texas is the Yak Kings. They have a bunch of dudes that can take, a 5 yard slant and take it to the house. So I think that kind of was interesting to me. So I think just shore up the tackling,
Mhm.
assuming that what he's saying is true. But that's obviously
Yeah.
every game. You need to shore up those tackles. Them catching the drag over the middle for 10 yards sucks. Them catching the drag and taking that 10 to 60 is demoralizing. So I
Mhm.
think just sound tackling from the corners, sound tackling from the safeties, Mari Page, and obviously I don't think
Exactly.
none of the big boys are going to have problems once they get their hands on people. But I think that was a big thing. And then another thing they said is they don't think we could pass at all. And they were talking about how they need to sell out on the run. They're scared to death about us running. Sell out on the run, sell out on the running. We've seen how that goes when, let's say, Ohio State did it, or let's say somebody
100%.
like that. So we can, obviously, we had JJ who has a little more live arm. But if they're putting 8, 9 in the box, I I believe we can get some big time plays just to. And I don't think you want to test us like that. So I'm that made me feel pretty good that if they think we're that inept in passing that they need
Yeah.
to throw the kitchen sink at the run game, that lets me know they don't think they can stand up to us physically. Um, we're not when we play whoever, we never say we can't stop the run. We know that's gonna happen. It's a
Right.
matter of it's a matter of other things. So I think that lets me know they think they're maybe not as physical as they need to be. They need to have a lot of guys in the box, which opens up Samantha Morgan, the Loveland,
For the
those type
Morris.
of guys that can
Absolutely.
get those one-on-one coverage out there and then take something to the crib. So those are the 2 points that just from watching a little, I think it was like an 8, 9 minute clip from them that I figured I had to mention because I mean I don't know I had never heard of Texas being referred to as the Yak Kings, but
Say
it's
people after
yeah
1 week, people start, self-proclaimed names and and I think I told you before we got on here, everybody is assuming that Michigan, like Texas, is gonna win this game. And that's my favorite situation to be in, favorite spot to be in. I know these guys in Ann Arbor are just chomping at the bit to get out there, another opportunity to play a big team on a big stage. I think they're gonna show up to the party as well. So you want to throw out a score prediction?
yeah ooh, this is a tough one for me. I think realistically, if we win this game, it's going to be like I think I said before we hopped on the phone. Let's say call it 27 or under. We're gonna have
Mm-hmm.
to,
Yeah.
unless Davis Warren was pulling putting our leg on it, he just comes out. But I think so. With that being said, I'm thinking it's gonna be a close one. But I'll go ahead and give us I'll say 27-21 victory for Michigan.
Okay. Yeah, I'm be the same realm. I'm gonna say it's like 27-23. I think we, 3 touchdowns, think we can get a turnover, take a lot of clock, take a lot of time off the clock, some drives, kick some field goals, play keep away. I think that's something we
Yeah,
can do. We've shown we can do and play pretty well that way in the past. So I think we'll be able to do the same this weekend.
for sure. And I know we don't really give too fill in the blank about the spread and betting and all that shit, but I just literally it was it's on the side of the page right here. The total
Mm-hmm.
spread point total is at 42.5.
Oh,
So
it's
that
getting over.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's interesting. I would have automatically assumed they would be,
Yeah, more
touching
on
50. Yeah, yeah, yep.
yeah.
So that kind of makes me think, you know,
Street fight.
maybe whoever the odd makers are knows a little more than, or giving us a little more credit or whatever. Because how do you look at a team that their only mission is to score 50 a game? And then, I don't, it doesn't make sense. So, I mean, that'd be,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even know how you get to that. I mean, would that be like a
That means they just people just pouring the
20, it'd be
money.
like a
They pour their money in
22-21 game. Like,
yeah,
like you go,
or they think that, or they think it's gonna be like 31-10, something like you know what I'm saying. Like they think it's gonna be a blowout where we can't score and Texas just pour it on. To where we think it's gonna be in the teens, low 20s, probably around like that 43-44 range. So I feel
yeah,
good
no, that's a
about
good
it.
point. That's a good point about like the 31-10 or something. That's a good point on that.
Mhm.
But I thought that in general, I thought that was interesting because I don't, obviously we don't pay too much attention to that, but that definitely stood out to me when I just
For
kind of
sure.
looking at it. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean I'm looking forward to it though, man. This is why we Michigan fans and two historic programs, Michigan all time winningest, Texas. I think Michigan's sitting at like 10-04
Yeah,
and
Texas like 980,
40
nine some
something.
change.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know,
We
this is
got
why
three
you feel like,
Heisman's, they got two. Well, we
yeah,
got 12 natties, they got nine. I mean, this is an instant classic.
yeah, no, 100%. I'm looking forward to it. Just come out here and have some of these players make a name for themselves. Have Donovan Edwards. We need. Hey, you want to drop 180? This is the game you do it, and then let's redo it again in late November.
Right.
Yeah,
100%.
this is you. I mean, you're on the front cover of the video game, Brody. Brody, you wanted to make a little Heisman run and all that stuff. You got to do it in a game like this.
Time to go get to it. I believe in him
Yes, sir.
too. I think he's built for the big game, the big spotlight. So
No, he
yeah,
is. He's Detroit boy. I'm rooting for him.
for sure. So yeah, we're gonna turn the page here. Talk about our beloved Detroit Lions. Week 1 is finally upon us. I know we've both been waiting, chomping at the bit. Got Stafford coming back. Probably looking to get a little get back after how we got him up out of there in the playoffs last year. Um, yeah, so I just want to kind of see your thoughts. What you think about this Sunday night matchup. The Rams coming to town again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely the Rams are formidable. I think they're um obviously a playoff type team. I think this is I mean NFL. There's never an easy game. You're not getting a Fresno State Bowling Green type week 1. So I think, but in general, this being prime time, um, kind of the bow tie to all of Sunday football. The NFL purposely had them coming back to us, just for like the storyline of it all. And Stafford, I think he's going to come to play. I mean, I think there's a reason why he didn't bring his wife. I heard that she's not coming because of how much the fans were talking shit to her and the kids last time around. I think that could put a
Lock
little fire in his,
in.
yeah, that could put a little fire in his belly. But I'm generally looking forward to it. I think we're riding so high off this Lions. I mean, that just letdown that we had in playoffs is versus the 49ers, coming out the gate so hot that JMO, was it an end around or a screen or something? I mean,
Mhm.
I'm running around my house like we just won the Super Bowl. So I think, the team felt that, the coaches felt that, and this is where you kind of start to make that some noise again. And this is not, obviously week 1 is not a must win game, but I do think it's kind of a measuring stick to like, what are we how much about business are we? Are we going to come here and just win like a 27-24 game? Or are we going to come out, 35-10? Are we, and the biggest question mark to all of this is, I think, is Matthew Stafford probably one of the best gunslingers I've ever seen in NFL versus a bunch of rookies. So I think that oh my God, I cannot Puka
Wait, Puka
Puka
Nacua?
and Cooper Cup and all of them. I just think those are you know guys that are very electric, and they can. And the way Stafford doesn't care about forcing a ball to somebody, yeah, you might get a pick or two, but he's gonna thread that needle a couple times too, and you'd be like, how the hell did he make that throw? So
Mhm.
I do think overall it's our game to win or lose. We
For
control
sure.
it. It's at home, fiery crowd. I mean, I'm imagining those tickets are probably what 300 to even get your foot in the door. And
Right, higher.
yeah, so I mean that's a fact. You sitting in the parking lot for 300. You sitting
Right.
in so but no, bro, I just feel like it's so hard to say. It's hard to talk about it because I do feel like we're just a good team. I think we're gonna go out there, run the rock,
Hmm.
play action. The same thing we did. We know the game plan. We didn't. We're bringing back the same team. We didn't lose a soul. We didn't lose a coach. We
Got
didn't
better.
nothing. We got nothing but increases where we were weakest last year. And so I think that's all said and done. What is really going to be the issue is, are them freshman rookie cornerbacks ready to play?
Hmm.
Uh, and I think that's kind of it. And then outside of that, Hutch getting to work. We talked about it before, but Reeder's probably not going to play. But I think we you win these first couple of games, and then you drop in a Reeder. Then you drop in the fact that these corners aren't scared to death
Yeah.
because they've been through a couple of games. But I think this first week is a little. Those question marks on the cornerback scared me the most, is what I would say. Other than outside of that, it's our game. But I am a little nervous just to see. It's nerve wracking having one guy back there, and I think we're gonna start two maybe.
Oh no, we're
Uh,
gonna have Carlton Davis. He one of the two
Carlton
original
Davis, and
uh
then
the Bucks, and then Terry
yeah,
Arnold. I mean, he came from Bama. He coached by Saban. I'm expecting a lot out of him. We putting Branch back there at safety next to
yeah,
Kirby Joseph.
yeah.
It's
No, and I think those are yeah, no, we're much improved because Branch was spotty on how they were playing them and trying to figure out spots for him and whatnot, and and so I agree with you that we I not always forget that we went and got Carlton Davis. I don't know why I'd be blinking on that, but great pickup for what, a third rounder.
yeah,
So no, that's a good point on that. We
for
got one
sure.
dude that we know is kind of the alpha. He's been around the block, and then
Hmm.
we got the young pups that can kind of learn, and then we got somebody like Branch who's in his second year.
Yeah,
Uh,
maybe all pro
yeah,
this year.
that can kind of make his he definitely can be just kind of making his mark. He's such a Swiss Army knife that just then put, hey, you're the starting safety. Let's figure this shit out. He's ball
For sure.
hawk and can lay the wood. He's one of my those are the type of safeties I like.
For
And so
sure. Yeah.
not gonna. I'm joking, clean this joke. I shouldn't say this, but he's also we ain't gonna get him but for like 12 games a year. So he's gonna knock himself out for a couple of weeks every single year. He's like a Bob Sanders type. You know what I mean? Like he's just yeah.
He had a great playing nickel of all things last year. Had a great season last year. So yeah, no, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Echo a lot of things you said. I mean, I was kind of looking through the Rams depth chart. I mean, their left tackle is suspended. Their right tackle was limited in practice today with an ankle injury. Their left corner was limited with a hamstring injury. The back of left corner was limited with a hamstring injury. Aaron Donald's not there anymore. They just traded probably their best defensive player, their linebacker, to the Titans for who knows why. Literally McVay on a press conference, I saw him like pissed about like why they're even asking about him. So I think for me, as long as we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, we play Detroit Lions football. They even changed up stuff in plays because we got Jonah Jackson, that we just get, that walked and went over that way, just to make sure that, they don't know what's coming. I'm confident in this team. That home field advantage is like none other. Um, I mean, we've been there, see what that games look like, that Monday Night Football game. My ears ringing for like 2 days. I can only imagine what the playoff games sounded like. And I can only imagine what it's going to sound like with Stafford coming in there again. Like, as much as we love Stafford, they can't wait to boo him again and get on
Yeah.
his head again.
Yeah,
Um,
he's become public enemy number one for
yeah,
like no,
no
he
reason,
didn't like
none of it fault of his own. It's just
no.
he opposition now. He the op. That's all it really is. All it
Yeah.
really comes down to.
And we won't forgive him until we get a ring.
Right, yeah. Then he might get his little video and welcome back and everything in like 2026 or something. But I like where we're at, man. I mean, I'm looking. They got a rookie starting on defense. They got a couple rookies starting on defense. If I'm not mistaken. Um, Once again, Aaron Donald's gone. I just feel like some of the matchups will be able to expose. And don't get me wrong, they're gonna have so they got some firepower on their end with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua. You already hit on the head. Stafford's gonna be dealing per usual. But I am confident that Hutch is gonna start his Defensive Player of the Year campaign. Sack and a half, coming out hot. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a tough test, but I do feel like this is gonna be one that we're gonna go ahead and go get to start the season on the right foot.
Yeah, no, I think, and you made great points. Like it's what they're. I'm not as versed in what they have going on as far as the injuries and all that stuff. But I mean, that's for Hutch to want to go on that defensive player of the year uh, run. It's if you get Sunday night
Yeah,
when the whole NFL world is watching, you go get 2 sacks, um, 2 sacks and a couple hurries, or don't let him get his hands on a ball. which he seems to have a knack for. So I think in general, you made some good points as far as them just kind of being depleted at O line, and kind of in a weird where I do think they're fighting for a playoff spot. But I mean, if you tell me they go 12-5 this year, I believe you. They tell me they go 5-12 this year, I believe you. You know, I think they're kind of it's up in the air as far as what they have, and a lot of that's on Stafford.
Yeah, on
Stafford
his
is,
last, couple
yep,
years
we know
left.
hot or cold, hot or cold. And yeah, so I agree. I do think we got this one in the bag though, and I'm looking forward to it, brother. And I was just say this for the people. I had convinced myself we were playing Thursday night, so I'm even more let down until like 12 hours ago. I thought we were playing on Thursday. I don't know how I got
Yeah,
that in my
it's
head,
be
but
tough
uh,
Sunday having to wait around for sure.
just a few more weeks. I know, and I'm my ass so old now. I can't even. I'm gonna pass out at halftime. But it's all right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's gonna be a great
you want to do a
game.
score prediction? Oh no,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, I was gonna say I think it's gonna be a great game. Score prediction standpoint, I can see it being 31-27 Lions. I think it'll be close. There'll be a little bit of some shootout action. I think it'll tighten up in the second half. And I think run game, what we do on offense, all the continuity, we coming back with. I can see us, putting up some points on the scoreboard and coming out with a close one.
Yeah, no. So I think we're spot on with that 31. I think that's kind of the magic number. We know we can put up points. I almost didn't want to go 31 because I was going to kick a field goal, but that's a whole nother.
Get one
So
base by kicking a
it
35
might be
point corner.
35. Yeah, maybe 35 or 28. But no,
We'll
I
put
agree
it
with
at
you.
35.
Yeah,
Just because we just gotta kick it. It's like 4th and 11.
yeah, no, no. Play action. No, we but no, so I think that 31 and you I don't know. I wrote down two scores. I wrote 31-17 and 31-20. But I think that's kind of in that ballpark. I think we'll get our hands on a ball or two from Stafford. We love you dearly, but we know what you do. And then we're the juggernauts as far as offense goes.
Mhm.
Whether it's Gibbs, Montgomery, Laporta will get busy. Hopefully, J-Mo will get busy.
Yeah.
And I think week one in particular, they're going to be trying to get him that confidence. They're going to give him some
Mhm.
end around. They're going to give him them screens. They're going to give
Test
him
that
the
secondary.
yep. And on top of that, test him. Like it is a we got to figure out earlier rather than later. Is this it or not? I think
It's
that's kind
time.
of yeah, it is. It's definitely time, and I'm thinking he's going to step up to it. But I think we have to know that very early in the season because we talk about receiver number 3 when I don't even know if we really have receiver number 2. So he might be receiver number 3,
It's a
and so
little
I
light
think we have
back
to figure
there.
out figure out sooner rather than later. As far as maybe we have to go get somebody. Maybe we trade or call somebody sit on a couch somewhere. I think earlier rather than later is when we're going to figure out, okay, what do we have as far as these receivers go?
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing I'll say is I want to see Gibbs. He'll be back week 1, right?
Yeah, he like
Yeah,
about 99 to 100% as of Monday. So
yeah, right. And just see him just get a little more busy in the passing game. I think that's good how we can kind of manufacture wide receiver number 3 is just having him out in the slot, trotting him out there, just a mismatch nightmare. Very similar to JMO though. You got to make sure those hands are sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Be back with y'all next Wednesday with the results of the Michigan Texas game and the Rams Lions game.
Yes, sir. Go Blue, go Lions.